Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to another conversation as part of the Own Your Yes live series. I am your host, Valera Wilson, and I have been so incredibly fortunate and thankful and blessed to have had such an opportunity to talk with women over the past several months
Mhm.
that are resilient leaders in their own right, in their businesses, in the corporate space, and hearing from them and allowing them to share their wisdom and lessons learned on the way to success, including the imperfect paths that they might have had to take to get there. I'm excited. I'm excited but sad because this is the last episode in the series. However, we will resume in other ways, so stay tuned for more announcements there. But I can't think of a better way to end it than to have with me today this amazing woman that I get to call a friend now, Dr. Gail Burgos. She is the SVP and Senior Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at First Century, and also the President and CEO of Burgos Consulting. And we're going to be talking today about winning by being uniquely you. Thank you so much, Gail, for joining me today. I'm excited to have this conversation with you, and I just know that you've got some gems to drop.
Well, thank you first and foremost so much, Valera. It is truly my humble honor and pleasure to be in your midst today and to have this opportunity to have a conversation. And I'm super excited. So, as I said before, the deposits that I make, you have always continuously made those into me as well. So we're kindred spirits there.
Yes, we are. So let us just jump right in. So tell everyone, what is it that you're currently doing?
Sure.
You've got, obviously you're a senior leader at a company doing what you love, and you also are now consulting. So tell us a little bit more about those worlds.
Absolutely. Well, I am totally honored and excited about my role as the Senior Vice President of First Century, as well as launching my own consulting company to focus solely on diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is a journey that I have enjoyed over the past several years now. Working for a large organization and still continuing that opportunity to help other organizations in their diversity, equity, and inclusion journey as well. So it's exciting times, and I'm just thankful to have that opportunity to do so.
Awesome. I mean, you are a corporate leader and respected by so many people. I mean, we had an opportunity to meet a few years ago on a
Yeah.
panel, um, and have just kept in contact since then. And everywhere I go, your name and your brand is just one of the exudes grace and
Thank you.
such a peace. And I mean, it's golden. And you're
Oh,
definitely respected by so many. But I mean, I would love for you to share, well, what was your path to get to that place? And, obviously from an occupation perspective and a personally, and then what are some of the challenges that presented themselves along the way?
sure. Well, I will first and foremost answer the first of how my career journey has been, and how it started, and then of course I will address the challenges. I was very fortunate. It's not a Cinderella story, but may sound like one by the time I'm finished. That I really had great mentors and successors and sponsors along the way that saw something in me and saw this quality that allowed me the opportunity. They trusted me, they empowered me, and so seeing that I not only was a hard worker, I would, had no problem burning the midnight candle many times and many nights and many weekends, but it paid off. And so I worked from a business side of the organization all the way to the IT. My leadership continued to expand over time, and to have the humble opportunity to be able to support executive leadership in an entrusted journey such as diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was critical and very important to the success of the organization. It was a huge task, but I enjoyed it, and I was just grateful for the opportunity to do so. I think one of the things that has helped me over that time, though, is that I did remain true to myself. People have came back and actually given me the feedback that, I knew Gail Burgos back when, and I've always been the same. I've been approachable, down to earth, personable, humble, yet still being able to give direction, mentor, guide, all in a loving and caring manner. And so if you ask me one trait that has been consistent, that's probably has been it. Now, did that come with challenges? Absolutely. I don't think there's any leader, male or female, that has not, along their career path, have not been faced with challenges. I think for me personally, as well as professionally, having that work-life balance. Probably, if you ask me, in all honesty, what was the biggest challenge? It was that work-life balance, being able to wear the multiple hats as a wife, happily married for 33 years and counting, with children who are now all grown, being that mother, the caretaker for my family. And balancing that with the work life, and as well as being vested into my community. And one of the things that I have learned through all of that is the importance of time. That time is a gift and that you cannot take it for granted. And so I've learned now in my seasoned years that to be intentional with my actions, both personally and professionally, in the things that that are important to me, and that's what I'm led to do. And so, if I had to sum it up, it's know yourself, do your self-reflection, know your gift, know your skill sets, and that becomes part of what you do and how you act each day, and that builds your brand. You talk about my brand, well, that's where it comes from. It comes from my gifts and my skill set. And then that evolves into your network, the people around you, whether that's in your family network, that's in your work network and in environment, and in your community. All of that aligns nicely with your brand, which ties back in nicely with your gift. And so I'm just thankful at this point in my life and my journey that it's been really good to me. So.
Wow. And you said about the gift and, owning that and then building your network and the relationships. And that's such I think, a powerful tie, because so often I don't know that we talk about gifts enough as it relates to our work. And sometimes I think we can forget that, you know, our work is definitely a thing, and it is the thing, but also
Right,
what
right.
is our gift? What is our gift? And really building our relationships and the people around us around our gifts and what's true to us.
That's right.
And I think that's the staying power. When you're authentic, you connect
Mhm.
with people in an authentic way, and those are more lasting relationships. Um,
Absolutely.
and I mean, wouldn't you realize though that showing up as you, as Gail, because you mentioned people come back and say, "I remember I knew her when," but
Yeah.
wouldn't you realize that showing up as yourself was the best way to get ahead?
Sure. Probably if I wrote a letter to my 20-year-old self some 30 years ago, it definitely would have been a different perspective because, in all honesty, I think may have been conforming or portraying what I think people wanted me or I expected them to see. But probably later on in my career, later towards my late 30s and 40s, I started to realize that during that time of self-reflection, being in tune with who I am, my gifts and my talents became more relevant. And I think we all have at some point in our life, and everyone is at a different journey. Everyone is at a different stage of self-reflection. But for me, when I did that and I started really listening to that and asking those questions. Who am I? And what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing here on this earth and during this time is probably around my late 30s and my early 40s. And
Mhm.
so here I now, I'm in my seasoned time of my career in my life, and having that very clear pathway
Mhm.
of being intentional, being knowing who I am, knowing what my gifts and what I bring to the table. And what I'm supposed to be doing has been really leading my path each day. I wake up with joy in my heart. I wake up with an intent and a purpose, and knowing if tomorrow's not promised, today is what I'm supposed to be focused on, and these are the things that I'm going to make sure happens. And so that has been such a revelation for me. And in spite of looking back over the pandemic this past year, I think many of us, so many of us, have had the opportunity to reflect because the world came to a standstill, and it was quiet. And you do need that quiet time, that meditation time, in order to self-reflect. And what we saw, in spite of all the chaos and the unknown and the deaths that occurred and the economic strain that happened across the world, you see where people took the time to self-reflect and say, what is it I really want to do? What makes me happy? What is my purpose? And so you saw more authors
Mhm.
coming to avail. You saw more entrepreneurs launching their businesses.
Right.
I can just reflect real quickly in my own circle of network. So many authors, so many women and even men launching their cooking business. Meal preps became something that was
Mhm.
very important for so many people that were working from home, sharing of menus and things of that nature. So I think again, reflecting over the time, while it had so many negatives that occurred over the years, there were so many positives that have happened. And so I'm personally and professionally grateful for those opportunities as well.
Yeah, no, so many nuggets in what you said here. I think of what you said going back to your 10-year-old self, and how many of us would love to write that letter,
Right.
go back in time and say, "Oh my gosh, let me tell you, girl, what you need to. This is not going to
Yes.
be what you think it is. Here are the lessons." But hindsight, of course, is always 2020. But I love what you said about taking the time to reflect.
Yeah.
Who am I? What is my purpose? What do I
Right.
like to do? What are my gifts? What am I excited about?
Yeah.
And you're right, this moment in time right now, particularly during COVID, everything's still. So it's given us an opportunity, hopefully, to take that time to think about what really is in us, what's for us, what do we want. And then from there, like you said, waking up every day, being intentional about that thing in the
Yes.
midst of so many other things that could be going on. And then I like what you said about, you know, waking up with intention and moving in the direction of what I think is something about intention that's just amazing. Who is it? Tony Robbins. I think he says something where intention goes, energy flows. I think that's
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
and it's so true.
It is.
And wherever you focus on, that is where
Mhm.
the energy is going. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. And so we talk about being uniquely ourselves
Yes.
and winning by being ourselves. And we decide, okay, this is who I am. This is what I enjoy. And that we get to evolve in that over time. It changes, I think. But
Right.
settling in on that and then moving in that, it's something amazing in that. And I want to ask you about what anchors you in that truth when you think about
Yeah.
this, who Gail is, this is who she is, who is who I am. What anchors you in that to not
Right.
be so compelled to maybe do it like someone else or be like someone else or
Right.
somebody else's at somebody else's game the way they play it.
Exactly, exactly. I am a woman of faith. I will go ahead and put that disclaimer out there, and I've never shied away from that. Again, looking back, people say, I knew Gail back when. I've always, not shied away that I am a woman of faith. And in the vein of inclusivity, when we talk about embracing diversity and, fostering inclusion, it is to allow that environment where people can and they don't have to feel like they have to cover. And even if they did, for me, that was one thing that I just I was unwavering about my entire life. And so while I never enforced, my beliefs on anyone, you knew exactly where you stood with me. I am a woman of faith. And so from there stemmed my outlook, my engagement, how I interacted with other people. It came from that core. It came from that internal DNA or hardwiring place of being. And so that has always, when you say what has anchored you, that's really it, is my faith. Yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that you brought up something you said. A lot of times we talk about DEI a lot, and we think about it in gender, race, ethnicity, disabilities, sexual orientation. But I think a piece of that we don't always talk about is faith, and that is part of being inclusive, is recognizing that that is what makes someone unique.
That's right.
It is what drives them, and so to make space for that is, I think, so important. But I love how when we talk about winning, and by being us, is that you bring that to the forefront, and it exudes from anything that you touch and what you do and how you, like you said, engage with people. When I think about that on so many layers, because I'm dissecting all this as you're talking and listening and soaking it all in, is that there's so many things that I think we can be afraid to share about ourselves because maybe it doesn't look like what is acceptable or okay, or our perspective are things that are uniquely important to us. So we try to hide it. Faith is just one example, I think, but it could be so many different things. And when I think about something, I recall someone shared with me, and I think we had this conversation last week about something that's so important to me is my faith, my community, and my time with my family and friends. Like those things are really important to me. And even doing this weekly series is so important because of what I'm passionate and purpose about, and not hiding that from what I do as my occupation. It's very clear. I'm very transparent because it's who I am. It's how I win at being me. And I think I feel like the need to that sometimes women need permission to just be with us and to stop hiding what makes us win. Everything that could help us win is the thing that we might be hiding, which is so counterproductive. And I have seen more wins by just being me than being anything else. Right? There's a greater piece there. I think that's the piece is. There's a greater piece of just being you. It doesn't matter the environment, right? Whether it's business, this is me.
Yes.
I'm going to win by doing that. And when I think sometimes for women, we're often led to believe that we have to act a certain way to be successful, whether it's in the corporate or business world. But what do you say to that?
I do say, it is challenging. It is a unique journey for every person. It's an individual journey, coming into not only that self-reflection mode, but you having the confidence, right, to really stand true and not feel threatened or that you have to cover yourself in any of those environments that you happen to be in, whether it's with your family, your family circle, whether it's with your business circle or your work family, or whether it's with your community. It is a challenge. And so confidence, along with that self-reflection, comes the confidence and the comfort to act on that. And again, that happens at different stages in people's lives. There is no perfect epiphany of when that shall happen for each person, but it's beautiful if you happen to find that early on in your life, rather than the latter. But again, when you do, no matter when it happens, it still is a great thing. And it's not only just great for you, it
Mhm.
also is very beneficial for, again, the environments that you inhabit, because it's a win when
Yeah.
you show up and you are
Mhm.
you. Oh my goodness.
Wow. That's
The
beautiful.
energy that comes, and because
Wow.
your happiness, because you have joy, because
Yeah.
you're able to express who you are, that's the gift, right? That's
Mhm.
the gift that you're sharing. That's the skills that you're sharing with others. That's the secret sauce that you bring to the table. And you think about it, even you take it to another place of inclusivity, right? And we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. One professor actually shared this beautiful analogy. He said, "You think about the parts of a bouquet and a flower. When you look at a dozen roses, all the roses are the same. It's beautiful, but it's all the same shade. But if you look at a fresh cut bouquet, you have the lilies, you have
Mhm.
the roses, you have the baby breath, and you have all of these variety of flowers, and they're all unique in
Mhm.
that bouquet. But you see the beauty, the totality of that bouquet, not just one thing standing out, but each one of them are unique in expressing where they are. And so I think about inclusion in that same breath. Everyone is unique. Everyone has a different talent and what they bring to the table. But when you do that, it makes such a beautiful bouquet. And I would much rather have a fresh cut of a bouquet rather than a dozen roses. So
I love that. I You said something, the energy that comes, well, first of all, the confidence that comes from, you know, being you, and then the energy that other people get from you being you, the
yeah,
excitement, there's like this extra that secret sauce when you spread it on top of wherever you go, because that's you.
right.
It's explosive in a good way. It
Yes.
really, I think it just does something that we can't even imagine. And when
Yeah.
you said it, that is the gift. I made the analogy. Our gift is the gift, right?
Yes,
It's
it
the
is.
gift. It's the present that allows other people to smile, to have
Yes.
a good day, to grow, to thrive, to gain
Yes.
wisdom. All of those things have to operate in our gift, our uniqueness of us being who we are. Um, have there been opportunities that you believe have come your way solely because of you were just, I'm just going to be me. This is not
Oh,
anybody else. I'm just going to be me.
absolutely. Absolutely. My entire career journey, I would attest to that, from me being who I am, unwavering again in my faith, but not overpowering that to any extent. But that being part of my hardwiring, my core, and me showing that and not being afraid to do so and unapologetic about it, has, like you said, it has layers and it opened up so many doors.
Mhm.
People said, that's your gift, Gail, that's one of the things you do really well. And it became part of my brand.
Yeah.
That's how, people came to know me, and they always had the same consistent message about, Gail Burgos. And so it has truly a benefit of being who you are and how people know you, both personally and professionally. So yeah, you absolutely should always strive to be yourself and to share your gift with others. And it comes back. Success happens after that point. It
Yes.
does.
Um, how how would you say a woman, she might say, well, I don't really know my
Mm,
unique voice right now. There might be women that are watching
yeah.
this that either are younger in their life or their career, or maybe even, older, but still are struggling. Well, I don't really know what my unique gift or voice is. What would you say to her? How does she find that?
Sure, sure. Well, definitely, self reflection. And even through that, the answer may not always come. and in the manner that so choose. But here's some 3 easy steps that I've shared with women groups and young ladies groups that I've spoken to over the years. It's a simple exercise. Number one, you ask your closest friends, uh, just simple question: what is my gift? And because they know you, they've been around you for, where you've been your authentic self, you haven't felt like you needed to cover, they will tell you, and share with you, well, Gail, this is your gift. Your next circle that you should go and ask are your family, close family members, who have watched you, seen you in action, from early childhood up until now. Your mom, your dad, if they're still living, definitely ask them, what is my gift? And don't put anything else around it. Just simply ask, what is my gift? And they will tell you. And then the third group that you should ask are your coworkers, people that you work around, because you spend a great deal of time in your work environment. And whether you cover or not, whether you're in that job description that is aligned with your gift or talents or not, usually, you're going to get that feedback. But what you start to see after you finish that exercise with your friend circle, your family circle, and your work family, those first 2 areas, there's going to be some synergy there. They don't know each other. They haven't spoken to each other, your family and your friends, but they're going to come up with some of the same additives that describe you, as what your gifts are. And so that helps as a pattern, just to start saying, well, I don't know what my gifts are. No, your friends and your family, your true friends and your family that are closest to you will share that with you. And that's an exercise that women and young ladies have used, and they've come back, and I give them as homework. So they come back and they say, oh, I did, I actually went through, and you're right. This is what people saw. And so they've been acting on it, and they've moved forward, and they said, this is where I should be. And that started giving them the actions and the career path where they need to be. They said, well, I'm not doing the job that aligns with my gifts and my talents. I said, okay, well, you have the power. It's all in your ballpark. You have the power to make that change. So now come up with a plan of how to make that transition to align with your gift. And that becomes your brand. And then that becomes part of your network. And so
Love it.
simple steps.
I love it. I know we've just got a couple more minutes, and so I would love for you to recap and share, like, what would you say to women about winning by simply being themselves? Like, what would you say if they walked away with nothing else?
Yeah.
What they could realize?
Self-reflection is important. At no matter what stage you are in your life, take the time, truly take the time to self-reflect, to tune out the madness of the world and all the different hats that you're wearing at any given time. Have a quiet place to do that. No matter where that is, it is so important. Being in tune, knowing who you are and your purpose will lead your pathway to success. Know your gift, seek your purpose, seek your skill sets that only you are blessed with. That's what makes you unique. We're all born with that innate gift and talent that is just for us, no one else, just us. And when you know that and you know what it is, be intentional with your actions every day. Don't waste precious time doing things that do not align to your gift or do not align to your skill set. That begets your actions begets your brand begets your network. Surround yourself with people that make deposits into your life that lifts and allows those gifts to shine, and not be afraid that you have to cover or shed those gifts away from others, because inclusivity, as we know, it brings about success, not only just for you as an individual, but for any organization and or family or environment that you happen to be in. So again, I thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been wonderful.
Oh gosh. Oh, likewise. I mean, you have shared so many amazing points of wisdom, and I'm reflecting and I'm listening and digesting it all as you've been talking. And so thank you for taking your time today to share with all of us, and for any woman that's watching right now. Thank you for listening. Let us know that this has helped you, and most importantly, share with another woman
That's
that
right.
could benefit from hearing this message, because that's what this whole series has been about: is to share lessons learned about life holistically, so that we can grow and as women, and own our yeses and win
That's right.
being ourselves. So thank you all so much. We will be picking back up in a couple weeks. Stay tuned for some announcements on how we're going to do this. It won't be on your yes right now. We're going to end this series. It might be resuming later, but we're going to be kicking this back up because we're going to keep the conversations going. So thank you again for watching.